Good morning. Welcome. You're listening to the Fran Halloran Show. I'm Fran Halloran, the Money Coach, and I'm your host. Welcome to the fastest hour in talk radio. You've got lots of choices when it comes to what you're listening to this morning, so I want to thank you personally for listening to us today. I'll do my best to make it worth your while, and I promise that today we're going to do a better job than we did last week. For those of you who may be new to the party, I want you to know a little bit about who I am. I am a Dave Ramsey financial coach. A pro coach is actually the title Dave and his team give those of us who have gone through his Master Series training in Nashville. And I'm simply here to offer you solutions to your financial issues and problems without any fear of a sales pitch. Truth of the matter is, if you like Dave Ramsey, chances are you're going to like what we do in the mornings here on The Point. If you're not a Dave Ramsey fan, well, you're probably not going to appreciate what we bring to the party. We use a very simple plan in what we do. We call it intentional planning, and it works for anyone who has a desire to live life a little differently when it comes to handling your money. We simply believe that all things should be done in an orderly and fitting fashion. You don't need a lot of money to do this, and you don't have to buy any kind of software or some special product to make any of this work. As a matter of fact, if you ever talk to someone who says you need software or you need a product to get on the road to financial freedom, run, and run very quickly. They're scamming you. Simply not true. If you want to reach a goal of financial freedom, all you need is a desire to change your life. That's it. You can find Intentional Planning Group on the web at www.ipgsc.com. That's ipgsc.com. Or you can call IPG at 803-792-1045. Anytime, day or night. There you can hook up with coaches who can teach you and motivate you so that you can reach your financial goals. Let's get down to business today. We teach Logic on Fire here on Thursday mornings. The show is supposed to be interactive, so please consider giving me a call here in the studio. That number is 799-TALK. That's 799-8255. You could even text me at 792-1045. You can email me at coachfran@makethepointradio.com. You could even put a note on our Facebook page, Intentional Planning Group. And to the point today about interactive radio, I want to see if I can generate a little interest today with our question of the day. You're welcome to call in, again, 799-8255 with an answer, or you could respond via text or on Facebook. Question of the day today is this: which is more important to financial success, saving money or making your income as high as it can be? Which is more important to financial success, saving money or making your income as high as it can be? During the first segment today, I want to get to the inbox. We've got a lot of great emails from the past week, but I do want to give you kind of a roadmap of where we're going. Today in the studio, I have a live guest. Obviously, he's live. He's a real human being, Jesse Neer. You've heard me talk about Jesse for quite some time on the radio, and he's here today to talk Estate Planning 101. We will be talking to Jesse during the second and the third segments at the very least. If we have time and we get to it in the fourth segment, my That's a Bunch of Crap segment, we're going to talk about posers who think they're rich. And the fact of the matter is, we tend to think they're rich too. Let's get to the inbox. I want to get to a few emails with the time we have remaining in the first segment. Coach Fran, we have our fully funded emergency fund. Our home is just about paid off, and we have no debt. We're maxing out our pre-tax at work and our Roths as part of our 15%. How do you suggest we build wealth in step 10? Wow. Well, first of all, let me just say, you're a rock star. That's amazing. Kudos to you. That is a wonderful place to be. Let's just go with the assumption that you've already got life insurance, a will. You're living by a written budget. Obviously, you said you have a fully funded emergency fund and you have no debt. So you're already to the point where you're putting 15% away and you are about to pay off your home. As soon as you get paid off, as soon as you pay off that home, I should say, then you want to start trying to build wealth. And remember, folks, when I talk about building wealth on this radio station, we're not talking about building selfish, arrogant, hoarding, keep it all to yourself wealth. We're talking about building wealth so that you can give it away. You can change people's lives. You can change your own family's lives. You can change your children's lives. You can be a giver. The happiest part of my life is when I get to give money to a charity, to my church. And giving is a huge part of our financial plan. We want you to become a giver. Before you can do all that giving, though, we want to make sure you are financially sound. And it sounds to me like you are. So let me explain. You want to look at what we call the working rich. You want to look and see what the working rich are doing. They're not sophisticated investors. When you hear people talk about the sophisticated investor run, that just means whatever they're investing in is incredibly risky, almost to the point where it could be problematic and dangerous. The working rich, that's where you're going to be looking at. That's who you're going to be looking at. Here's what they do. They invest in paid-for real estate. They buy paid-for businesses. They invest in mutual funds, and some do stocks. And that's what you want to look at. Once you get that home paid for and you are really trying to build wealth, let's see if we can't build up enough money to maybe buy a little rental property for cash and start building a little rental empire. Maybe you want to buy a business that will develop a couple of streams of income for you, but you want to do it without debt. Remember, we want to limit risk. So paid for real estate, a paid for business, mutual fund investing, maybe stocks. But remember, stocks are very, very risky because you're only investing in one company. So great question. Stay away from that whole idea of sophisticated investing. Coach Fran, help me please. I am married to a princess. I cannot get her on board with being intentional about anything, let alone spending and saving. She spends like crazy. How can I change her behavior? I don't think you can. I've been married 11 and a half years, and I can tell you right now, my wife Susie is anything but a princess. But I cannot change her behavior. I can't, and she can't change mine. The idea that any spouse can change their spouse's behavior is a misnomer. You can't do it. You've got to lead by example, my friend. What I would suggest you do is you very quietly begin to change the way you handle money. When you change the way you handle money, she's going to, over time, see, wow, my husband is behaving differently. My husband has money in his pocket all the time, whereas I don't. Because it doesn't sound like to me that you all are living as one. It sounds like to me she has her money, you have your money, and that's not a recipe for wise financial living. So I would just suggest to you that, first of all, you probably knew you married a princess, and that's part of what, attracted you to her. You were her prince. You knew what you were getting into, and now that you've decided you're going to do things differently, it's going to be tough to get her on board. Be patient, lead by example, and I think over time, you'll see some change come into your wife's life. We're up against a break. We'll be back on the other side of these messages. You're listening to the Fran Halloran Show on The Point, 95.9 FM, 1470 AM. We'll be back with Jesse Neer after these messages.